Happy podcast day. Are you ready to push past the plague of procrastination? I'm pretty proud of myself that I came up with that, but that's what we're talking about today is how what stops us from doing what we know we need to do, we should do, we even want to do. But before we dive in, if you have not joined the Facebook community, Divine Destiny, Living a Purpose Aligned Life, the link is in the show notes. You should do it now. Come join me, come hang out. Let's make this the best community to just support each other and to really understand what God's telling us, not what He's telling other people. So many times we do things just because it's what we think we should do. I think it's really time that we start shedding those expectations and what other people think and listen to what God's telling us. Let's dive in. Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tami. I'm your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Picture this. I don't know if you've experienced this, but so maybe I'm alone here, but I will sit down to do something. I know what I need to do. I know that I want to do it because I know that it's something that has to be done. And once it's done, I can check it off my list. I can move to the next thing. I need to do it, and I just can't. My brain is like, hey, have you moved over laundry? Hey, there's some dishes. There is a dish in the sink. Maybe I should wash that one dish. Oh, maybe I should see what so-and-so is doing. Oh, do I need to go and see what the kids are doing? Like everything. My brain feeds me everything, every distraction in the book, even to the point where it's like, I don't know how to do this. Believe me, I know how to do it. I know what to do. And my brain still is like, no, we're not going to do it right now. And am I alone in this? Have you ever experienced it? And I'm kind of saying it tongue in cheek a little bit because I know you have. I know that we all have done this more than once. And so that's what I wanted to talk about today because over the last couple of days, I have been really focused on getting something done, getting this task done and setting up and it's something I want. I'm so excited about it. It's part of it is this permission to pivot challenge that I working on, that I'm writing things for, that I'm doing all the back end stuff for, so that way I can just do what I love to do and show up and actually present it and talk to you about it and help inspire you to pivot, give yourself permission to change and to do something, to start that thing that you've been thinking about starting, whatever the thing is. Well, as I'm sitting down, I realize that my brain is just giving me thing after thing after thing, things that something else to focus on, something else to think about, something else to do instead of what I really need to do. I know that it's not that hard. I know that it's not going to kill me. I know that it is easier. And once I'm done with it, it's off my list and it will feel good. And yet I still don't do it. And so I wanted to talk to you today about a couple of reasons why our brains stop us. So first, if you hear, it's Saturday that I'm recording this and the test sirens are going off. In the Air Force, we used to call this the giant voice. The test sirens are going off. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. Again, my brain, instead of letting my brain get distracted about all the things, like every time I get a knock on the door, every time I get a knock on, or the dogs bark outside, or there's sirens going off, if I allowed every distraction to stop me, I wouldn't get anything done because I am the master at distractions, procrastination, waiting till later. And I know that I'm not alone in this. Please tell me that I'm not alone in this. But why is it that when we know what we need to do, our brains still stop us? And so first of all, I want you to know that it's a safety mechanism. Our brains put us in safety, and it's for a couple of reasons here. And so, let's just dive in. Let me just go with this, and get this done, because again, I have tried to record this 3 times, and someone will knock on the door, or the dogs have barked. The sirens I didn't stop for. That's a new one. But this, at least that wasn't very loud. So let's talk about this. The first reason why our brains stop us from taking action, doing the step, is the fear of failure or the fear of success. Fear of failure can paralyze us, making us avoid the steps towards our goals because we worry about not achieving it, right? But conversely, the fear of success is also a barrier. And it's because it might bring changes and new expectations that we don't feel prepared for, that we don't see coming. The responsibility. A lot of times when I am talking to women about their purpose, and they're like, Tami, I just don't know what it is. And typically they have an idea. And then when it comes down to it, it's like, but what if I do it and it just means so much? Like, what if I screw it up? What if I do it and it works? And what now? Then what do I have to do? I don't know how to keep going. The fear of success can actually hold us back more than the fear of failure. The fear of failure, we can look back at all the times that we have failed and got back up, the times that things didn't go as planned and we pushed through anyway. We can build an evidence bank for times that we didn't know what we were doing. We may have stumbled, but we got through anyway. We also need to build that bank for the times that we've succeeded, even though we don't know what we're exceeding to, what we're going to, what we're our end goal. We still got to build that evidence of, okay, I didn't know what this was going to get me, but when it happened, the good things that happened from it. The weight of the responsibility, recognizing that, okay, if we can handle the responsibility of today, we can handle the responsibility for tomorrow. If we can handle expectations today, we can handle expectations tomorrow. And the thing is we just remind ourselves that we're scrappy. Whether we succeed or we fail, the fear of it is going to stop us. And so that's this fear of it hasn't even happened yet. So we don't know what it's going to look like. But when we allow this fear to lead to avoidance, to procrastination, to prevent us from taking action, that could lead to getting these desired outcomes, to heading towards our goal, to getting this desired life and that you want, to live your life and to experience it versus just manage it and deal with it and allow an autopilot to take over. So we have to set down the fear of failure and the fear of success and just push through and do it. Do the thing you know to do. So what's another thing that stops us from taking action? It's a lack of clarity or direction. This is one of my favorites because you may know the next step, but because you can't see 3 steps ahead, you're like, well, I don't really know. And by you, I mean me. I am calling myself out here because I use this concept of I don't know where it's going to lead to stop me. So the lack of clear understanding and vision. The thing is that we know who holds the future. We also know who directed our paths. We know who set these things before us, before we were even born. And so when we use the lack of clarity or direction as an excuse to not do the things, we're actually being disobedient. And again, that's a fear that we're allowing to take over. And so the other side of that is, have you set a goal? Have you set a vision? Have you set an intention? Because if we don't have a clear plan, we don't know, okay, this is the why behind the why. This is my intention. then of course that lack of clarity and direction. And there are times that we just need to put our big girl panties on and go. Like we just need to act. But we also, this is one of my favorite things to work on is this clarity and direction, a lot of times it's not on the outside of us, it's within the inside of us. It is the understanding our purpose and our calling. We may not understand what it looks like or how to do it. But when we know what our strengths are and our core motivations are and how God wired us, we have the clarity we need and the direction to step forward into it and let Him order the steps. This third one, limiting beliefs and self-doubt. This is different than the fear of success and the fear of failure. And I have talked about this so many times because it still plagues me. It still stops me from getting what I want until I identify them. And then they no longer stop me. And then I can push through and I can look at the evidence and I can see what limiting belief I have and where do I have self-doubt. And I have to, honestly, I don't think self-doubt is really my issue. I really do think it's the limiting belief. It's the clear picture and scene and those thoughts and those comments that people have made in the past, those beliefs that have kept me safe in the past. They're deeply rooted, deeply seated limiting beliefs and self-doubt can undermine our confidence and make us question our abilities. When we see confidence as a muscle that we work out, that we take action and we gain more of it, then we can overwrite those limiting beliefs. Excuse me. These limiting beliefs that we have, they're not your fault. But now they're your responsibility to get past, to look at them and say, you know what, that is a flat lie. This belief that I can't do it, or that I'm not worthy or deserving, or that I'm not safe if I do this. There's things that you need to look to see, okay, what is the truth? What can we hold on to? Where did these limiting beliefs come from? So these negative thoughts create mental barriers and stop us from pursuing our goals, from starting the thing that God has called us to do. When we have this angst, this feeling for more. And sometimes, and I'm just going to call it that because many times we don't even know, we haven't defined it yet. We just know that there's something else. There's a legacy, there's an impact, there's a thing that you want to do. And if we don't address these limiting beliefs, it doesn't matter if you know what step to take, your brain will stop you from taking it. So by addressing these, by getting clarity on them and challenging these underlying fears, this clarity and this limiting belief, we can overcome these barriers. Another one, okay, this is a bonus one. That we depend on willpower and desire and motivation. If we depend on those three things, willpower, desire, and motivation, very rarely will we ever get anything done. Very rarely will we get to the point where we step out of our comfort zone and just do the thing. Because rarely does motivation, desire, and willpower all join together at the same time. How many times have you had the desire to clean out a closet, but what do you know? You don't have the time or the motivation to. You have the need to start something. You have this idea and it's just driving you. But then you're like, well, I don't want the willpower to force and you have the desire, but the willpower or the motivation is lacking, or you have the motivation to do something, but you don't have a clear idea of what. So that desire to do something isn't defined. And so it stops you. So my point is that if we wait for motivation, desire, and willpower to kick in, we're going to be waiting, and which is probably what we've been doing already. There's a lot of things in my life that I didn't do because I was waiting for the desire or the motivation to do, or waiting for the willpower to get up and just do the thing. Oh man, we cannot wait. Whether we believe it or not, I know that you're feeling this sense of time. I feel like time has fast forwarded. We are done with 4th of July now. So now it's time for school to start, for Halloween, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, like I'm already feeling behind on Christmas gifts because it's coming up so fast. So this idea of time and then waiting for the stars to align, they aren't going to. So when there's something that we need to do, we get to tell ourselves, you know what? It doesn't matter if I succeed or fail. God's got the outcome. It doesn't matter if I know the direction we're going. If I have the clarity enough to know that this is the why, you just do it. And those limiting beliefs, if you recognize those and you understand how they're holding you back and how they're not true, and you just push through anyway, and you just do the thing that you're called to do. Take the step. And again, I'm talking about small step. I'm talking about like when I was sitting and writing out an email sequence, like I was just plug and playing and like changing some dates, and I was changing some words on there, and making it more my own and making it a little more fun. And my brain was like, oh man, squirrel, like what else is there to do? What is it that you really want to do? Have you sat down and asked yourself what this more could be and what's stopping you from getting it? Is it because you don't have the desire, the willpower, or the motivation? Is it because of the fears and because of limiting beliefs? Like, friend, if we allow these things to keep us from acting, we won't do anything. And can I tell you some of the impact that if we don't do the things we're called to do? One is we're going to always feel like there's something else. I don't know about you, but the idea of getting to my deathbed and feeling like I haven't lived my life scares me. That seems like such a waste and God's called you here. And I know that many of you have been through some crazy life circumstances. I know that many of you have been through these trials that have knocked you over, and you have a story to tell. You have a vision. You have a purpose that goes beyond that. And it might be to help other people who are just dealing with that, or who are about to deal with it, or just have gone through it and they don't know what to do. They have a different gift, and getting through this trial is not one of them. This need for more, I don't need to define it for you, because I have a feeling that if you sat and really thought about it, you could define it for yourself. Whether it's like starting a business, doing an MLM, going back to work, asking for a raise, asking for a promotion, starting a ministry, writing a book, starting a podcast. What is it, this more, this impact that God has waiting for you? And are you going to let a little thing like the fear of failure, or the fear of success, or these limiting beliefs, all of these lies that our brains use to keep us safe, are you going to allow it to stop you from living? Are you going to allow it to stop you from showing your kids that it's okay to get uncomfortable and push through to get something you want? I have a feeling that it's not even feeling. I know that the world today doesn't look like it did 20 years ago. Getting a job is not the same as it was 20 years ago. You don't start a job and you don't have a retirement there. You don't build a pension and, out of your 401k and stay with one position. It's a constant, it's a constant growth process. It's moving from one position to the next, And the thing is, if our kids don't see that it's okay to stretch ourselves, that it's okay to see that there's something more and go for it, how are they going to have the strength? How are they going to have the mentorship to know that it's okay for them too? So when I say that it's time that we stop waiting for the right time to pursue this more and look at it right now and start not only discover our purpose, but do it. I really mean it, because it's like our kids are watching us. Once you have tweens and up, it's hard to talk to them about what's next. It's hard because they already know, or they don't want to hear it. How many times my son has said, "Oh, I don't want to hear the same thing over and over," but they're watching. And so one of the things that I have done is I will let them see me fail, and I'll let them see me succeed. I'll let them see me get uncomfortable. And I talk about the discomfort. I talk about how I am trying something new that I haven't done and I'm kind of nervous about it. And I even let them give me a pep talk about it and encourage me because this is just, I'm helping them see that it's capable. They're capable too. Oh, it's time, friend. I know that you're capable. I know that you have a dream, a God vision, this this need for impact and legacy and more in your heart. And if you don't take the time to define it and to just start acting and going towards it, this feeling of lack, the feeling of not being aligned, the feeling of being out of obedience, the fear of God using someone else. And how many times have you seen someone do what you want to do? And you're like, hey, that was my idea. It's still your idea. It's not too late. Its time is now. Don't wait. You don't want to be at a year from now and still in the same spot, wishing and hoping and thinking and praying and just standing there. What could become possible in just a couple of months if you really dove into discovering what this more is? And you don't even have to wait a couple of months. I have a 5-day challenge that's coming. I have a 5-day challenge that I'm doing July 22nd through 26th. You need to join the Facebook group. That's where it's going to be. I think I'm trying to play with, because I really want the interaction. So I like Zoom, but I've heard and I've talked to some people who've done things like this, and they say that in the Facebook group, more people will show up because it's easier. And it's also there for the replay and everything. So I'm looking at that. But the dates are set. 10 a.m. Central Standard Time is set. Permission to pivot. This 5 days where we're going to look and we're going to see the this is for Christian moms who want something more, who want to discover what it is, who want permission to pivot and change and do something that maybe others don't understand, that maybe put in boundaries and live this purpose aligned life that God's called you to. Maybe even create this purpose-aligned business that will give you the freedom and the impact. And when I'm talking freedom, I'm talking financial, time, relationship, spiritual. I'm talking about this freedom to live the life that God's called you to live. I want to help you unlock the freedom to pivot confidently and design something based on and reflection of your purpose and value. Your priorities, your core values, they matter. And if we don't start looking at them and start acting towards them, we're going to feel longer and it's going to take longer and longer to do the thing we need to do. We need to stop letting those fears, those things stop us, and we need to do it anyway. So I want you to join our Facebook group, Divine Destiny, Living a Purpose-Aligned Life. I will put the link in the show notes or wherever you find this. If you need it, message me on Instagram. I will send you the link. Message me on Facebook. I will send you the link. Message me, email me. I will send you the link. But come and join us. You'll find all the information. Signups are coming because it's going to be free. But registration is going for the workbook and for any other goodies that I have for you you'll get them through email. So you'll want to make sure you reserve your spot. All right, friend. Are you ready to give yourself permission to pivot? Permission to do the thing, to start the business, to see if there's a viable financial side to your strengths and your gifts. It took me a long time to embrace the fact that by having a successful business, a purpose-aligned business, that I can be more generous. I can impact more. It's not a selfish thing, and it's not even about the money, but having a business that affords me the life that I want and that I want for my kids also allows me to give more audaciously, to serve in a stronger and a more impactful way, and to also say no to things that I know are not mine to do. And so it's not all about just doing more. It's about doing the right things, the things that you were called to do in a way that's uplifting and impactful and that lights you up instead of drains you. So I want to see you in our Facebook group. Last week we were talking about the showing up for yourself. We've got a couple more of those themes. Like I've got a couple more ideas for that. So we're going to continue it this week in the group. So you don't have to wait until permission to pivot to start making those changes. Get into the group now and come and just see what there is for you. Come and be part of a community of women who want to shine their light so others can shine theirs. Make it a true impact and really step into who they're called to be. All right. With that, friend, choose joy until joy chooses you, and I will see you soon. If you haven't left me a rating or review, please do so. Please, please, please. It really means a lot to me. And if you have a girlfriend who has been hinting or talking about, or you know that she has a purpose-aligned business or a purpose-aligned life inside of her that she needs to explore, send her this podcast, send her the Facebook group. Like the best thing we can do is support each other. And the best thing we can do is like help each other grow. And so when we have a resource that really does that, like I love when my friends send me like, hey, Tami, you need to hear this, because usually it's exactly what I need to hear. So if you have a friend who needs to hear this, please share it with them. It would mean the world to me, and I know it would mean the world to her as well. All right, with that, choose joy till joy chooses you, and I will see you soon. Bye.